Hello, a very good morning to you. I'm really looking forward to this hour. We've got another new supplier here at Hochanda. Now, the lady herself isn't actually in the studio, but we're going to see plenty of her throughout the hour. If you're into your soft crafting, or maybe you've just started that journey, especially dressmaking, this is going to be the show for you. Already I can see where we're going with this. Honestly, I'm not going to say too much because I know the lovely Lindsey, who's going to introduce herself very, very soon, is going to tell us all about herself and the company and the ethos behind the company as well. Let's hear from Lindsey right now.
Hey everyone, my name is Lindsey and I'm the owner and designer behind Sew to Grow Patterns. And today I am so excited to launch my collection with Hochanda and to demonstrate a few different techniques and show you all the amazing patterns and tools that I have to offer. But before I get too stuck into it, I wanted to introduce myself because we probably haven't met yet. So again, I'm Lindsey and I'm originally from a very small town in East Texas. And then one day I met this really cute Aussie on the beach and we moved to Australia about 9 years ago. And I have been working in the sewing industry since I was pretty much old enough to work. And then about 6 years ago, I decided to launch my business, Sew to Grow. Now, a lot of people ask me, is that maternity wear? And I'm like, no, it's not Sew to Grow or Sew to Grow. It is Sew to Grow your skills. My business is all about planting the seeds to grow the future of our craft because I want to help build confidence in your sewing and I want to help you build the handmade wardrobe of your dreams. So you'll see that a lot of my patterns are able to mix and match and you're able to take a really great basic pattern that you can make in a day and then change it and make it something new or make it with a different fabric. So I want to show you a few of those different elements today and also how just changing some little fabrics or adding sleeves can completely revolutionize a look and help you build that wardrobe of your dreams. So before we get stuck into any demonstrations, I just wanted to go through a few of the products with you. We have the self-measuring tape, which is going to blow your mind when I show you how easy this is to use. I've also developed this tool. It's called the Fashion Multi-Tool, and it combines over 6 different sewing techniques all into one portable, easy design. Wow, I know, crazy. And then we have my #1 best-selling pattern. It's called the Bondi top. So that's the back, that's the front. This one is made in just a really lightweight, luscious linen, perfect for summer. Even into fall, you can kind of layer it. I've also seen lots of people who do a bit of a funky contrast yoke. So if you're somebody who loves to hand embroider, or you have an embroidery machine, or you just want to do a funky pop contrast, the yoke is the perfect place to do that. And you can see it's a very simple, basic box top with a little bit of a high-low hem and perfect for beginners looking to get into making clothing. So if you haven't done clothing in a while, or it's your first attempt, I highly, highly, highly recommend you start off with the Bondi top. In addition, once this pattern was like so popular, I decided to do an expansion pack because I believe that when you pay the money to buy a pattern, you want that pattern, once you get that fit perfect, to be able to do lots of other things. So I came out with an expansion pack so that you could add sleeves, add a cuff, add a casing, turn it into a dress, add pockets. So basically you have one pattern and now you can mix and match and do all different sorts of techniques to make it so many different dresses. And you can just imagine changing the fabric, using bold prints. Actually what I'm wearing right now is a Bondi top where I just cut it at my waist and added a gathered skirt. So really such a basic pattern, but so many different opportunities to make it yours. We also have the Stella Skirt, which is a nod to the 1960s. I really, really love that decade and the fashion, and I think you'll see through a lot of my patterns I was very influenced by the 60s. And this one I made up in a corduroy. Now this pattern has 2 different lengths, above the knee and below the knee, just so you have different variations. But I really love that this lends itself to doing some beautiful top stitching. You could do contrasting pockets. There's also this middle panel that you could change and do different fabrics. So it really lends itself to you getting as creative as you want. So that's the Stella skirt. And then over here on my mannequin, I have the beautiful Ulsan jacket. Now this one is made in a wool blend, but you can see that it doesn't fray on the edge. So this is option 2. There's also an option 1, which is the reversible option, so that you can pick 2 fabrics and have it become completely reversible, or you can pick a fabric that doesn't fray like I have here and just make a single version. I can whip one of these out in probably under 2 hours. It's such a quick make, but makes a huge impact. So as you're going into spring or going into fall, autumn, you see I'm trying to think of all the different words, fall, autumn, which one? So as you're transitioning seasons, this would be such a great layering option. And then underneath we have what's called the Frankie shift. Now on set, you'll have the one that has the flutter sleeves, but I have the sleeveless version here because I know it's summer there right now, so it's probably a little bit warm and you may want to have a sleeveless option. Now, this dress has a little bit of a tie in the back, which is completely optional. You do not have to use the tie, but it's just a really basic, comfortable shift dress. That is what my patterns are all about. Simple, beautiful designs that give you a gorgeous fit and make you feel comfortable and can really showcase your fabrics. These are meant to be everyday wear. I think about the women that I teach. I think about the customers who buy my patterns. So I'm always thinking, what would you wear every day? And that is the range that I hope to build.
Do you know, wasn't that an amazing introduction there from Lindsey? I do hope she's watching, and I can tell you we're busy across the board, especially for the tools, actually. Especially for the tools. Yes, I'm getting tongue-tied already. You see, you bring Lindsey in, she'll take over. She can do my job so much better than me. As we saw from that video, amazing work there. Now, let's have a look what we've got to offer here as well, because the bondi top, of course, was featured there. This is beautiful. You can really adapt this in so many different ways. We've got the extension coming up as well for it, but we'll come back to that. But looking at the bondi top on its own, first of all, the size goes from a UK extra small right up to that 4 extra large. So if I'd convert that around in UK size, that's 22 to 24. Amazing that you can adapt these, and you've got so many multiple sizes within each pattern here as well. And just changing the fabric, maybe some fancy stitching around the neckline there, maybe a little bit of a plique on there, you're going to get those totally different looks. Now, as Lindsey said, you know, everything that we're showing you today, you can create a whole wardrobe with lots of different adaptations that you can create to give, you know, a different feel for the different times of the year as well. Now, when it comes to the bondi top itself, there's only 3 pieces that have created this top. If I just have a look at the front first of all, so you can see you've got that full piece at the front. If we just turn this around so you can see the back, you've got the piece at the back as well. Now you can put that lovely little pleat in there as well, but you've got that contrast area at the top there, which, you know, you could go with a total contrast as we have done here. You could go with a lacy look, you could go with, you know, if you want to keep it very neutral, you can do that as well. Again, you could have a nice stitch across there as well, maybe an embroidery stitch. Do you know, a lightweight denim would look lovely as well. There are tutorials online as well, so you can get the help out there. There's a little club that runs as well, a little sew-along club, so do have a look into that as well. Sew to Grow, just have a look on online at all the different options you've got there as well. Oh yes, just think of some of the fabrics we get here at Hochanda as well. What about the Liberty fabrics? Beautiful. You can actually use your quilting, your lightweight quilting fabrics to create these tops as well. Linen, again, lightweight denim, as I said there, rayon. There's all sorts of different fabrics that you could use. Gorgeous, really, really lovely. You could create that top time and time and time again and have a completely different look every single time. £16.49 is the price. Item number 615276, and almost a quarter of the stock has already gone, and we've barely started here actually. Now, because these are coming from Australia, we have got extended delivery for you. We'll give you the date of that. It's 14 days, but it's not long to wait at all. You can be planning ahead and getting your fabrics ready. Maybe you get your cottons and your threads ready as well. Think about how you're going to style your individual garments. Right, we are going to look at the next item. Now, when we look at the mannequin here, you can see very different because this is a solid colour, so a lovely sort of lightweight linen here. This has been created with. You've got sleeves in this one, you've got pockets on there as well, a longer length. This is actually the bondi top, but using the extension in there as well. So if you want to go for the extension as an add-on to the bondi top, you certainly can do. They are individuals. You can go for the bondi on its own. If you want to go for the extension, add that on, but just don't go for the extension on its own, because obviously the whole point is it is an extension. So looking at the sleeves there that you can see, they have been added on. You can see where they've been joined there. You can see those wonderful pockets, and they're really roomy as well. Again, nice stitching across the top there if you wanted to. We've got the longer length here as well. You could add it, a little gathered skirt like Lindsey was wearing actually. She had that beautiful floral outfit on, didn't she? That was the bondi top with that extension there as well. So you do get your full colour booklet included in every pattern as well. Of course, you've got your pattern pieces as well. You also get a lovely little folder to keep everything in. Very clear instructions, I've got to say. Very clear indeed. Do you know, a lot of people, I've heard them say it, and Paola springs to mind actually, because she's not been sewing for very long. She wanted to make her own outfits. Something like this is just amazing. Paola's already starting to sew her own outfits now. I know she's been wearing some skirts. But what I can tell you is, if you go for these patterns, you are going to get so many different looks. You can adapt them in so many different ways. You could put those little extra pleats in. You could put little buttons on there. You could change so many things about these items that you are going to make so many different garments that look completely different. I'm just going to pass this through here so you can see. Now, the patterns have been printed onto HGSM paper, so a really good weight paper. Of course, they're reusable. You can see you've got all the guidelines there, the different sizes as well. There's not many parts at all in this. The cuffs also you can add differently as well. So those contrasting areas as well. Maybe you want to go with a solid colour. Perhaps you're going with a black linen or something for the top, and then you wanted to put the cuffs in a white, so you've got that total contrast there. It's entirely up to you how you work with this. Now, I can tell you, when it comes to the extension, almost a quarter of the stock of that has gone as well. I think most of you are probably going for both. That's the way I would be shopping, that's for sure, because I think the extra options that you've got there really opens up that wardrobe element for you. Now, we are going to see Lindsey working with the bondi top, but let's have a look at that now. She's just fabulous. Watch more of her here.
In my intro, I told you how much I love educating and growing your skills to build that wardrobe of your dreams. So what I wanted to show you was how you can take your normal bondi top, take the pattern and alter it to turn it into a tunic, a dress. You can make it whatever length you desire, which is going to completely change the look of this pattern and give you a lot more options for only one pattern. So let's take a look. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut on that line. Now, a lot of times what I see is that people like to alter the length, right? Hold on, let me cut that. They like to alter the length at the bottom, so adding or subtracting from the bottom of the hem. Now, first of all, that's a little bit hard to do when you have curved hems or when you have facings and you're starting to alter and change the bottom of your garment. So what I tend to do, and which is easier, is cut on the short length line. Now we're only working with rectangles, so no matter how far I drop this, I'm still only working with pure measurements. I'm not having to measure, mark, measure, mark, measure, mark. So I have an extra piece of interfacing here, and I'm going to line that up straight and then put some pins to hold it in place, or you can use tape. Now let's just say I want to lengthen it by 3 inches. So I'm just going to go and I'm going to mark 3 inches. So you only need just a couple of those. And then you are going to line that up, making sure that it's still lined up on the fold line. Okay. And then I'll pin that in place. And then you can zigzag over it. Okay. So that is just pure lengthening. Now shortening would be the exact same process, but then coming up slightly. So if you needed to make it a crop top, or, you know, if you were short-waisted and you wanted it sitting a little bit higher, you'd still cut on that short and lengthen line and bringing it up and then tape it into place. And this works on dresses, skirts, anything you make, just look for that short and lengthen line. Now, if you wanted to lengthen it into a dress, the way you're going to do that is the exact same way, but me personally, my hips are much wider than what my waist is. So if I go straight down and I don't allow for my hips, then I'm going to go to put the dress on and try to get it over my hips and be like, oh, it doesn't fit. And then when I'm walking, it's just going to be so uncomfortable. So what I like to do is take that largest measurement of your hip and then divide it by 4. And then we're going to measure out and make sure that this comes out to where our hip measurement is. So, and then also you need to figure out your length. And for me, a tunic would be, let's say, 29 inches. So I'm going to lay that down. And the bottom of that will sit at 29 inches. So then we're going to come out and make sure, then we're going to add our seam allowance. So if that's 10.5 plus ½ inch seam allowance, 11. So then we will pin that in place. Okay. And then we are going to use our French curve to blend these lines into one another so that there's a smooth transition from one to the next. All right. And then this is going to become my new fold line. And then this is going to be the outside perimeter of my garment. So not only have I lengthened it, you can lengthen it as long as you want to, but I've also accommodated for when it goes past my hips. Now, if you want more ease and you want it to bore a line, then obviously you're going to move that further over to the edge. But I find that this takes one pattern that's just a really basic top, and now it's going to expand and open up the opportunities for you to be able to have tunics and dresses. I mean, you could drop this all the way to the floor. So this one Bondi top can also be a ton of other garments as well.
Amazing, amazing. Now we're going to see more of Lindsey, of course. Now for the pattern, you can see the details on the screen. £16.49. I can tell you already half of the stock has gone. 615276, something for all seasons, of course, here. Now if you want to adapt that pattern, if you want to go for the extension, almost half the stock gone again. I'm absolutely certain you're going for both of these, and that's exactly the way that I would be doing it as well. You can make those adaptations. You can add the cush, you can add the extra length, you could add the casing there around the waist if you wanted to. These are clothes that you are going to grow with you or shrink with you, come to that, because of course you can change them. If you want to put those belts in there, those casings in there, you could change the neckline a little bit if you wanted to as well with the stitching. Gorgeous. $13.99 is the price for the extension, item number 629309. I am just going to say to everybody, please do or don't hesitate to check your baskets out, because we are very, very busy on these. Now, one of my favourite items, actually it's unfair to say that because we have got a whole wardrobe here and I can see how everything works so beautifully together. But this shift dress I think is absolutely amazing. Now, almost 20% of the stock has gone. We're looking at the shift dress here. And I've got to say, we've been talking about this during the video, myself and the gallery, and we're saying, do you know, this looks so designer. If you are spending a little bit more on your fabric, perhaps, your Liberty fabric, we mentioned that earlier, do you know, this is something that you would pay a fortune for. And again, it is going to be so comfortable to make, to wear. You can change the sleeves. You've got the flutter sleeves in there, but you could leave them off. You could shorten that. You could adapt it in any different way. Again, if you want, although there is a tie belt on this one, you could again put some casing in there if you wanted to. Again, just gorgeous, very comfortable to wear. I'm looking at that all the time and thinking, do you know what, that looks so comfortable to wear for work when you're moving around a little bit and you're sitting down, but it looks so smart as well. Now I've just stepped back because I want to show you where the tie is there. I am actually just going to open this so you can see how easy it is just to sort of adapt that. Do you know, how many times do we go out and have a big dinner and we've got dressed up and they say, oh, I need to undo my button. That's great, isn't it? You can just go out looking all smart and then very discreetly just undo the tie. That could go at the back as well. We have got pockets in here as well, which you don't really notice straight away. Very useful. We like our pockets, don't we? Really, really lovely. And I love the neckline of this as well. You've got that kind of, that nice rounded neckline there. Again, you can keep that very discreet, or you can bring the detail out if you wanted to with some stitching. Do you know, the different fabrics, once again, you're going to change the total look of this. And again, for all seasons. You could even wear, I think, because you've got the flutter sleeves. I adore those sleeves, actually. Let me just lift that up so you can see that. Aren't they pretty? Very flattering. But you could even wear a long sleeve t-shirt under there if you wanted to as well, if you wanted to keep something a little bit warmer on for autumn and winter as well. Amazing. Love, love, love this pattern. £16.49. Again, those sizes going from an extra small to a UK 22 to 24. That's your extra large there that you can see on the screen. 095576 is the item number. We can see there on the pattern front, you can see the actual dress that we've got in the studio, but just imagine how you're going to change that with your different fabrics. Beautiful. Do you know that's smart enough for a wedding, or if you're going for the races, when everything gets back to normal, but it's also casual enough, depending on the fabric that you're using, to wear around the house or just going out shopping. I just love it. You're going to use that pattern so many times over. Right. I also can't wait to see the video for this. I think this is genius. I really, really do. We've got here a self-measuring tape. How clever is this? Now, you know when you're trying to measure, and you're trying to measure yourself, and there's nobody else there, and there's nobody else to hold it, you can't see in the mirror, how's this going to work? And especially at the moment, if you're dressmaking, perhaps you're still isolating, perhaps you haven't got the contact with other people, and you haven't got anybody to help you there. This enables you to do all your measurements and not just your waist. This is important. This is not just for your waist. This is going to measure all those different parts of your body, your biceps, your hips. You know, you're going to be able to transfer this over. What I love about this, and I think we will see it on the video, you can actually slide it up and down the body without totally taking it off and sort of resetting it all. It is just genius. £13.99, that's the price, 015267, and we are going to see Lindsay using this. I think this is going to be a very, very busy item. I would urge you not to hesitate checking your baskets out.
If you love sewing garments for yourself, but you dread having to measure yourself, well, I have the new tool that is going to change all of that. This is called the self-measuring tape. And so many times when I've taught workshops, I see women and they try to measure themselves, and it's really hard to get the measuring tape just right. So not too tight, not too loose, in the right spot, making sure it's not dipping in the back. And it's really hard to do that if you don't have somebody there to help you. So the self-measuring tape allows you to measure yourself and get those perfect, accurate measurements every single time. So the way this device works is like any other tape measure. It comes out and retracts back into itself. But what makes it different is there's this little curved edge, which is going to contour to the shape of your body. And we also have this little hole on the inside. So this comes out, comes around, clicks into the hole, and then when you push this button, this is going to go into the shape of your body so that you can record your measurement. It doesn't start quite at 0 because it's accommodating for the distance between here. This is also in inches and centimeter, and it goes up to 150 centimeters, which is 60 inches. So let me show you how it works. What we're going to do is we're going to put it around our body. Now, I like to have where the hole is facing up towards me so I can easily see it. So I'm going to start with my waist. I'm going to click that in, and then I'm going to push the button until it goes in. But don't suck it in because we want to make sure we get the right measurement. So once you have it in your waist and you hear it click, then you can turn around and look in yourself in the mirror and make sure it's flat and at your waist the whole way around. And then you can easily just grab it and then record that measurement. You can also shimmy it up and measure your bust, or you can shimmy it down and measure your hips like that. So really easy, great for measuring your biceps or your legs, any of the circumferences on your body. And then you can just push that button, throw it in your purse, and away you go. So this is called the self-measuring tape, and it really is going to make measuring yourself and getting those accurate measurements a breeze.
Do you know, that is incredible, isn't it? Oh, if you haven't got yours in your basket yet, please do put one in your basket. You will not regret getting that. Yes, I have got my eye on it as well. Half the stock is gone. Is there going to be any left for me? I don't know. $13.99 and is a great price as well, because this is an amazing tool. You're going to use it time and time and time again. 015267. Do you know what? I'm so pleased to say, I didn't know this was going to happen actually. I think we're going to be able to speak to Lindsey live. I think we're trying to sort that out right now. So don't forget to check your baskets out on that. Don't forget, we've got other patterns we haven't shown you yet as well. But I'm so excited to speak to Lindsey actually. Is she there? This is going to be a live Skype call. Are you there, Lindsey? Are you there? I think we're going to see her any second now. She's, oh, we're just waiting. We're just checking that she's there. I think we've got the go-ahead. She's there. Oh, hello, Lindsey. What an incredible video for the introduction we saw there. And then, of course, you've been talking to the measure there, the bondi top. You have sent in so much information. It's just amazing for presenting your show for the first time. You know, so much information about your background, and the videos are incredible. And I've got to say, the garments that you've designed here and the tools that you've created, they are absolutely fabulous. They really are. Oh, do you know what? You travel the world teaching as well, don't you?
I do. Yeah, that's what I'm really passionate about.
Oh, amazing. Of course, with the pandemic, things have changed a little bit, but that's given you time to do some designing. And of course, you're here now on Hochanda. We're having a very busy show as well. I think everybody's sort of seeing the possibilities with these different garments here, the way you can adapt them, the comfort, you know, the fact that you can create for all seasons. You can really make smart items, you can make it more casual. Do you know, tell us a little bit more about how you think up the designs. What's important to you when you're designing something? What do you think of? What's most important?
Yeah, I think because I teach and I travel so much teaching workshops, I get to see all women, all walks of life. And what I like to do is sit back at a cafe or even when I'm in a workshop and just see how women naturally wear their clothes and what feels comfortable to them. And I always am asking for their feedback. And so many women say, you know, I want a little bit of a sleeve, or you know, I want something that's not too fussy that I can make in an afternoon because I'm really busy with kids. So I really take that on board when I think about my designs. And it's all about the fit, because none of us are a standard size, nor should we want to be. Yeah. So I want to provide patterns that can really highlight and accentuate the best parts of your shape, and that you can design with a fabric you love and have it fit your body the way it's meant to. And that's why we sew garments, really.
Well, I've got to say, I think you've absolutely nailed it, Lindsey. I really, really do. Do you know, it was funny because one of the other presenters, Janice, she said to me this morning, oh, look at all those outfits. I can see you wearing each and every one of those. And actually, I would, and so would many other people, because they're buying like crazy. But it is the fact that you can adapt them. It is the fact that you've got that comfort level. What you've just said there about speaking to women, do you know, we all do it, don't we? We see somebody walking down the street or sitting and they're wearing a really nice dress, but it's maybe very tight fitting. You can see them sort of rustling around and sort of fidgeting about because it's moving. You want that movement. You want something that's comfortable. You want to feel confident. That is very, very important.
That's right. And so many women think it's them, and it's not them. It's their clothing. Like, they don't need to change their body. They need to learn to make clothes. That's why I've started a club. That's why I do sew-alongs. That's why I educate, because I want to give that to women to make them feel beautiful and confident in their own skin. They don't need to change.
Oh, wow. Do you know, I do absolutely love it. Can I ask, I can see just your neckline there. So you could be wearing either the bondi top or it could be the shift dress that you're wearing there.
Oh, this is the bondi.
It's the bondi. I love the colour. I've got to say that green with the black and white print on there is beautiful. And another outfit that can be adapted so many different ways, especially with that extension as well. I know we're very busy on that. I can see we've got a strap running across our screen actually right now. We've got queues on the phone lines, Lindsay, so we are very, very busy. Do you know, I can't wait to see what else you've got, because you've got more designs as well. We're concentrating on a certain few here today, which do genuinely create a whole wardrobe for every single season, because we've still yet to see a skirt and we've still yet to see a jacket. Lindsay, I just think you are a genius. That's all I can say. That's all I can say, especially when it comes to that tape measure as well.
Tell my husband that.
I will. Oh, I've got to mention as well, I was reading the information. You have a little dog called Frankie, Cranky Frankie.
Frankie, yes.
Why is he cranky? I've just got to ask.
Well, he has little dog syndrome, and so he gets cranky, and he's very bossy. So he's like part foxy, part chihuahua, and he has just sass galore. And it's nothing to do with us treating him like a child. It's definitely our fault.
Oh, so is the dress named after Frankie then, because it is called the Frankie shift? I thought so.
It sure is.
Wonderful.
I thought the dress was sassy, and it needs a sassy man.
Oh, I love that. Oh, Lindsay, it's lovely to actually see you on screen. It really, really is. I'm looking forward to the rest of the show. We've got more to see from your tutorials, of course, and we have a couple more garments to talk about and patterns. So I'm going to say goodbye now, but thank you so, so much for joining us. And it's lovely to see such a happy, smiley face there on the screen as well. It really is.
Oh, thank you. It was lovely to be here, and I hope you guys all enjoy my patterns, and it was great to meet you.
Oh, lovely. Just one last question. What time is it where you are, Lindsay?
It's almost dinner time. It's about 6:30. Yep, it's 6:30.
Oh, right. Okay. So we haven't woken you. You're not quite ready for bed yet. So have a lovely dinner. And yes,
I'm ready for wine.
We look forward to seeing much more from you in the future as well. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Oh, isn't she lovely? She really is. Do you know, we haven't seen all the garments. I need to show you this. This is another one. I would definitely wear this. I love it. This is your Stella Skirt. Now, look again there. You've got that border at the bottom, so that is a separate piece. So you could put a contrasting piece on there. You could do a totally different fabric. This one is corduroy, but again, you can change the fabrics as well. I love the pockets. Actually, this is very similar to the Stella Skirt that I'm actually wearing today with my jacket. This is definitely the sort of thing that I pick up. And I love this because not only with the different fabrics is it for all seasons again. Think about wearing this with your thick tights, maybe a pair of leggings as well. You've got the belt loops in there. Again, you've got all those different sizes. So, you know, this is going to fit from a UK size 8 right up to a UK size 24. So many ways of adapting it. I love it. Let me just show you the back actually, because let me show you this, and you're probably thinking, well, how do you put it on? Where's the zip? Where is the zip? It is actually at the side. So if I just show you the side there, a side zip, which is lovely to have because you get that perfect look from the back as well. And you have, again, got those very stylish pockets there. They're not just useful, but they look gorgeous. £16.49, 233807 is the item number. Now, you may have noticed, and it was spoken about, the tool. This tool here, the Fashion Multi-Tool, there's different techniques, all with this one tool. This, you'll see Lindsay using it. I'm showing the other demonstrations we've got to show you. If you haven't already found this, please pop this into your basket as well if you can. This is going to be worth every single penny. Sew to Grow is the name of the brand, of course. Let me just turn this around because it shows you all of those different techniques that you can appreciate that you're going to achieve with this. French curve, very important there. So you can see, use the curved edge of the Fashion Multi-Tool to mark and adjust necks, armholes and sleeves. That's very, very important. Also those hip curves as well. You can use this for your hemming. You've got your different measurements on there, different increments. You've got your buttonhole placement. Again, extremely important because you can change the look as well. Maybe you want to adapt the pattern in that way with your buttonholes and make features of those. The seam gauge, that is also there for you. Very important for marking those distances and the lines there, the drawing, the darts and the hems. Darts always give that smart look, don't they? They give you that tailored look, but you're keeping the comfort. Mitered corners, one of my favourite things, regardless if it's fabric or wood or cardstock actually. So you can do your mitered corners there. You've got your point turner there as well, all from this one tool. All from one tool. Now I'm just checking, yes, I can safely say that all of those increments and everything is all etched into the perspex there, so they're not going to rub off, they're not going to wear away. £17.99 is the price for this. Very, very useful indeed. 952001. We are going to see this in use. Lindsay's back, she's going to tell us more about it.
As somebody who absolutely loves to sew, I have definitely accumulated quite a few tools over the years because I believe having the right tool for the project can really make a difference. So with all these tools, I kept thinking, what if there was a way to combine them all into one design? So if I was going to a class or teaching a workshop, I would have only one thing that I needed to bring. And that's when I invented the Fashion Multi-Tool. This little guy has over 6 different techniques that it can do, and I'm so excited to show you all that this little guy can offer. So we have our French curve, point turner. This is for marking your mitered corners. Here we have our seam gauge that goes from 0 to 6. All of these cutouts here are for easily marking your hems at different distances. We also are able to mark our buttonhole distances, and I even put a convenient little hanging hole up here so you can hang it when you get home. It is just such a revolutionary tool that I think you are going to absolutely love. So let me show you how it works. Here I have my Bondi top pattern that I was going to trace out, and I wanted to show you how the French curve on the Fashion Multi-Tool worked. So a French curve is what's used to create and draft patterns. It's also used to grade patterns out. So if you want to alter or change your patterns, then this is the tool that you need to use. So not only do I use it for tracing, so if I was going to trace this, I can easily use my French curve to trace the design and then use a straight bit to go the rest of the way around, like so. See how all the curves are lining up with the curves on the French curve? In addition to that, if I wanted to change this neckline, let's just say the neckline's a little bit too big for me, and I wanted to bring it in and bring it up. So I can use the seam gauge side and decide how much I want to bring it up. So I'm going to bring it up by 1 inch. And I may want to bring the shoulder in by, let's say, 1/2 inch. So I can use that part of the seam gauge to bring it in 1/2 inch and then bring it up by 1 inch. And then simply use my French curve to connect the lines. And we always want this bottom bit to be flat like that, and then for it to curve up, because we don't want to get a widow's peak through there. We want that to be flat and then to curve up. Now, you could probably do this by eyeballing it, but how would you get that perfect curve from point to point? So having a French curve when you're tracing out your designs is extremely important. So that is the French curve. Now I'd like to show you how to use and mark your mitered corners. So what I like to do, let's just say I'm going to make myself a tie. So I like to fold that in half and then use this straight edge to line up with the bottom straight edge. And then I can move this wherever I'd like, lining it up with the point over there. And then I can mark, and then I can use my scissors to cut that perfect mitered corner. I also love using the end of my Fashion Multi-Tool to help me poke out tricky corners. So here I've sewn an end of one of my ties, and I am going to turn that right side around. Now, it is hard and tricky to get really into those corners nicely without poking a hole through. But with this, I can push this through, and I can also push it along seams to help push out those seams to make for easier pressing. So I hold that in there, and then run it along the seam like that so that it's nearly all pressed out before I even go to my iron. Next, let's take a look at hemming. So all of these different gaps are different measurements. So you can see up the top, this is a 1/2 inch from here to here. This little opening here is a 1/4 inch. This is a 1/4 inch. This is 3/8. This is a 1/2, and this is 5/8. So you automatically have all of these lines that you can line up with the bottom of anything you're wanting to hem. Let's just say we want to do a narrow 1/4 inch hem. So we can go ahead and mark this right at a 1/4 inch, and then slide, and then mark, and then slide. Or I can then go along and mark it at 1/2 inch so that I have both of my marks. So again, mark, slide, mark, because this distance from here to here is exactly 1/2 inch. So as long as you are lined up with the bottom of your fabric and marking to the inside here, you will get that perfect line every time. It even makes marking curves like I have here on the Bondi top extremely easy. So I can just line it up with the edge, mark, pivot, and then easily walk my way around the bottom of my hems, even when they're curved, just using this tool. It's so much easier than measuring, marking, measuring, marking, measuring, marking, and then trying to connect all of the lines. The last thing I'd like to show you is the seam gauge and how to perfectly and evenly space your buttonholes. So the first thing, the seam gauge goes from 0 to 6 inches, and there are 1/8, 1/4, and 1/2 inch marks all the way along. So if I was going to make pleats or anything like that, I could just easily line up with a 0 and mark every 1/4 inch if I wanted to, or every 1/2 inch, and that's how I can use my seam gauge. Now, if I wanted to mark buttonholes, all these little lines here correlate with a 1/4 inch distancing over here on the side. So they're all perfectly laid out. So if my pattern said to be 1/2 inch in from the edge and mark my buttonhole every 1/2 inch, then I could simply start here at 1/2 inch and then skip one and then mark, and then keep going all the way down, skipping every one so that I'm marking exactly at a 1/2 inch difference. And when I move this away, not only is it exactly 1/2 inch from the edge, but it is also 1/2 inch evenly spaced. You will have perfectly spaced buttonholes every single time. I think wow is the word you're looking for. How absolutely amazing is this little tool? The Fashion Multi-Tool has just really stepped up my sewing game, and I love having this on hand for poking out those quick corners or quickly measuring and marking my hems. I also find my students love having this multi-tool. Instead of looking and finding different gadgets that they need or taking them to class, they know that all they need is this tool and they're ready to start making clothes. So I hope the next sewing project you plan to make, that you have your Fashion Multi-Tool close at hand.
Isn't Lindsey amazing? She's absolutely is. Now, let me just tell you, unfortunately, during that video, we sold out of the multi-tool. There you can see it on the screen. $17.99 was the price. A great buy. You're going to be so pleased you bought this. We cannot get any more for this show. I'm absolutely certain Lindsey's going to be back. We're having a very, very busy show. So we'll see what we can do for next time. But well done, those that got the multi-tool. Really, really worth every penny. Now, there's another garment that we haven't spoken about yet, and I adore this. This is absolutely wonderful. We can see the jacket here. Now, this is reversible as well. And again, you've got those same sizes. So from a UK size 8 right up to a 22 to 24. What I love about this again is you can see how comfortable this is to wear, or it will be to wear. You've got that beautiful collar there. The fact that it's reversible as well, this particular design is all done in the same fabric, but of course you could have a plain side, you could have a pattern side. You could again team this with your trousers, with your skirts, with your dresses. Everything we've seen on this show creates a whole wardrobe for every single season. Now imagine that in a very nice lightweight fabric. Then you go into spring, something maybe like the linen would be suitable for spring. Into summer, you know, we get those days like today where you've got the rain and it's chilly. The temperatures were down to below 10 degrees this morning. In fact, I heard so in some areas they were down to about 5 degrees. So you want that warmth even in the summer. Then in winter, think about using maybe a wool mix or a corduroy or something like that. Again, denim would work very, very well. And of course, you can team this with your other garments and put your layers on. So your jumpers are going to go underneath. Let me just take the belt undone a little bit as well so you can see you've got that wonderful tie belt. And look at the width of that, which is amazing. So it's going to hold nice and tight. Depending on the fabric, of course, that you use, you may find that you've got a different sort of drape with that belt there. You could tie that into a bow if you wanted to. You've got the pockets in here again, which are very generous in size. Really nice shaping on the pocket there as well. This is not a live model, I've got to say. I can see it rocking around. I'm thinking, I hope this stays stood up. Do you know, I am just going to spin this around as well so we can see the back, because of course you've got those loop belts there, those belt loops there in the back, so that's going to hold your belt in place. Do you know, you could even add a nice button on the back there as well, couldn't you, as a feature if you wanted to, and that means that the belt's not going to fall off. So think about those ways that you're going to adapt again here. I just love this. It is such a wonderful style. You could have, do you know, you can have a different jacket for every single day of the week here. I just love these. I think I said it earlier, I think what Lindsey has done here is create a whole wardrobe for everybody that is going to be so wearable, so usable. You can dress them up, you can dress them down. You're going to use fabrics if you've got. You're going to be buying fabrics thinking, I know exactly what that's going to work for. Do you know, once again, the price on this is incredible as well. £16.49, because you are getting, of course, the booklet there with the full instructions. Let me just open this up. It is in colour as well. Really, really clear instructions. That's what you've got here. The pattern piece itself is printed on 80 GSM paper. So you've got all those different sizes on there. Do you know, look at how many different pieces are within this pattern as well. If you're new to dressmaking, if you're thinking, do you know, this is where I want to go, I want to make my own clothes, the simple shapes, but it doesn't give you a simple garment, or not at least to look at it. Of course, you've got the lovely folder there to keep everything nicely stored in as well. Item number 314 is the item number for the jacket, and there's a couple of other samples there. In fact, that jacket there, that's Lindsey wearing that jacket, I believe. You can see the reversible collar. Well, it's not just the collar, it's the whole jacket. So you can switch that around. So the lighter colour could be on the outside, and you've got the check on the inside. I love the other one as well for autumn. That colour is beautiful. Not sure what fabric's been used there, but I think it's some sort of heavier weight, maybe a wool mix. The length of the sleeves as well. Do you know, I do this a lot. I roll my sleeves up quite a lot. You can do this with the jacket. You can have them at full length. You could roll them back. You could even add a little belt buckle, so to speak, on the sleeve as well with a button. So think about those ways of adapting as well. We are very, very busy across the board. I think the majority of you are thinking, yes, this is my new wardrobe. I'm going to create skirts, jackets, dresses, tops, tunics, the whole lot. Almost a quarter of the stock has gone. There where you can see it's beautiful. It is. I can see how comfortable that is going to be to wear. Now, we have got another video from Lindsey. We're going to see this particular garment being made, actually, or at least part of it, and lots of hints and tips, I'm sure, along the way.
Okay, so I'm back for another demonstration, and this one we are going to look at how to do perfect flat felled seams on your Ulsan jacket. Now remember, when you make this jacket and you make it an option 2, you want to do one with fabric that does not fray. So what this technique does is give you a really nice flat finish. I actually call this my faux flat felled seam, because you're not rolling it over twice like with a normal flat felled seam. You're only sewing it and trimming it and then folding it over and top stitching.
First step is that I have my 2 pieces and I put them right sides together and pin them. And then I'm going to sew this side at exactly 1/2 inch.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my machine. I have it threaded with blue thread so that you'll be able to see the contrast, but you'd want to thread this up with thread that is matching. And we're just going to put our foot down and we're going to sew a 1/2 inch seam and just take our pins out as we get to them. And also because we're on wool, I've set my machine stitch length to 3.0, so it's a little bit longer. Okay, we got a cut. Okay, now that I have that all sewn, I'm going to take my scissors and I am just going to trim away one of the sides. Okay, so you can see how I'm getting super close and I'm just trimming that away. Duckbill scissors would make this even easier to get super close. But I'm using my new LDH scissors and they are doing just fine. Okay, now that you have that all done, you take this and take it over to your sew or to your iron and give that a really nice press. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a finger press. Okay, like that. And then I would also take some pins and just pin that down so it doesn't move on you. So now I'm about to put on my favorite foot in the whole world. It's the edge stitching foot with the guide. And what this enables me to do is lay it right on where I'm going to sew and then just move the needle over so that I have a guide to guide me and then I can sew right next to that edge the whole way down. So I'm going to pop that on my machine. Okay, and then I'm just going to move my needle over to the left a little bit. All right, and then I'm going to line that up. Okay, I'm going to check and make sure it's going through, which it's not. So that just means I need to move my needle over just a little bit more. Yep, okay, now it's catching. So all you're going to do is line that up and keep that spread apart and line the edge of this up with the edge of the fabric. Okay, give that a cut. And there we go. It's perfect from the inside and perfect from the outside. All right, and you are all done. It really is so incredibly simple, isn't it? So this is one that I made in a boiled wool just the other day, and it is so lush. I am absolutely in love with it. And I just want to show you how you could style it. So you can either just leave it open and let it kind of cascade down, or you can fold this part in and then fold that up. And I'd love to put like a button or one of those really big pins up here so that you create this kind of really nice, comfortable, warm feeling around your neck. Now this does have an optional tie as well, so it would look really cute with you having a little bit of a belt and pockets, or you know, let whatever you're wearing be showcased underneath and just let the jacket fall normally. This is going to be one of your favorite makes, and it's a great beginner basic jacket to get you into working with different and thicker fabrics.
Oh, I love that pattern as well. And what Lindsey was wearing there, the colour, and it just looked so comfortable and cosy, didn't it? Very busy on this one as well. In fact, a third of the stock has gone. Item number 134314. Brand new today. Everything's new today. Absolutely, because this is a new supplier, of course. £16.49 if you want to go for that one. Now, I can tell you about our bestseller, actually, of the day. It's going to be the Bondi top. Do you know, I'm not surprised because you can turn this into a tunic. You could even turn it into a dress if you wanted to. You can go for the extension kit if you want to add those sleeves in as well. You could shape this, you could put some casing around the waist and put a little belt in there as well, or a length of fabric that you can just draw tight. You could change the neckline or add some beautiful stitching there. You could put some beading on there. Do you know, it just goes on and on and on. And depending on the fabric that you're using, of course, you're going to get a totally different look using the different fabrics. No wonder it's been so busy. Just a reminder there as well, the sizes that are included on this one pattern go from a UK size 8 right up to a UK 22 to 24. 615276 is the item number. Something else we've been very, very busy on, and I'm not surprised, is this. It's a self-measuring tape. This is just a genius idea. £13.99 is the price. Do pop this into your basket. If you can, if you haven't got it already, I know we've been very busy on these. 015267 is the item number, not just for your waist. Let me just remind you that. That will measure your biceps, your hips, all around your body, and you don't have to keep taking it apart. You can slide it up and down your body as well. Do catch this on rewind. If you didn't see the whole of the show, do watch it back, because Lindsey has just given us so much knowledge there, and I can't wait until she comes back, even if it is just by Skype and video, because she does such an amazing job. Now, we've had sellouts on the show. Don't forget, we've got skirts on here as well. We've got everything for that wardrobe for all seasons. Do have a good look at the stock. Check those baskets out. We are going over to Janice and Anthony next, though, but don't forget